Hello YouTube, it's me, Pro Digi again. Today I'm going to go over a deck that has definitely resurged in terms of some power, and it will actually only get stronger in the next upcoming future set from EX6, and even a little bit possibly from BT16. I'm talking about Yellow Vaccine. Now, my take on this deck that you see here in front of you is going to be a Patamon, Angemon, Seraphimon build. Because I love me my boy Angemon. So let's take a look at it. So first up, of course, we're running 4 eggs of Kiaramon. Now what he brings to the table is your turn once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, one of your Digimon gains jamming for the turn. Next up, we are running 4 copies of my man Patamon from BT14. What he does is start of your main phase, search your security stack. This Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait among them without paying the cost. Then shuffle your security. If Digivolving by this effect, you may place 1 yellow card with the vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. Your turn once per turn. When a card is added to your security, gain 1 memory. So what works great with this guy is you push him out or you have him in play, start your main phase, you're going to search the security, find a target to evo into, and then if you do, you're going to place another vaccine type from your hand to the bottom of your security, but then his inheritable will kick off, which will actually gain you a memory. So not only are you possibly evoing for free, but you're actually gaining a memory. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Kudamon. He has, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait and 1 yellow Tamer card among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. He also has an inheritable. When attacking once per turn, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both players' security stacks, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP. He is mainly in here for his on-play, because you have to find some yellow vaccines, and you really want to find those tamers. Now on to the champions, because yes, this deck is a little light on the rookie side. After the profile, by all means, please share with me what you're running, or any suggestions you would have. But for me, my deck space just feels tight, so I'm trying it this way. And there's been games of where I regret it, but there's also been games of where I just come out of nowhere and actually make a full turnaround, regardless of the rough outlook start at first. But anyway, continuing. I'm running a single copy of EX1 Leomon. Now, what he brings to the table is a security effect. At the end of the battle, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recover 1. On top of that, he actually is a vaccine type. So that means if we were to trigger one of our many abilities that allow us to evolve and add cards from our hand to the security stack, he will be planted there just as an emergency button for later to trigger that security effect. Then we're running a single copy, because it's all we're allowed to run, of BT13 Geogreymon. Now he costs 3 to evo into, so yes, a bit pricey. Pardon me. For this deck. But he has, when Digivolving, search your security stack, you may play 1 yellow or red Tamer card among them without paying the cost. If you did, recover 1. as well as the inheritable of your turn once per turn. When one of your red or yellow tamers becomes suspended, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. So again, he is in here to help us search early game for those tamers. Because if we can get those tamers out, we are getting a good lead. Next, I'm running a slightly different build compared to what a lot of other versions of this exact same deck might run. Thus why I'm having issues with some of my rookie counts. But I believe this does come in handy. This is a more defensive way to play this deck. Some decks would probably prompt to run a different version of Bulkmon. I'm running this BT7 version. This one offers an inheritable. Opponent's turn, while you have 3 or more security cards, this Digimon gains blocker. Some people will probably go for the one that does not have an inheritable, but does have a built-in security attack +1 to be more aggro. I can't help but think this would be better defensive-wise, and you'll soon see why. Also, I am running 3 copies of BT8 Angemon. Again, a bit heavy on the cost to Evo into, but we do have ways in this deck to potentially get around that, as you've already seen with the Patamon, plus some other cards that we're going to get into. So this guy has your turn. When this Digimon would Digivolve, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, you recover 1. As well as the inheritable, when attacking, if you have 3 or more security cards, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. So between this and the Geogreymon, we have great ways in the form of inheritables to help get rid of some pesky floodgates or rookies in general. Alright, now, it would not be an Angemon Seraphimon deck without the main man himself. We are running 4 copies of BT14 Angemon. So what this guy does, he has quite a bit of text. So first of all, he can Evo from a level 3 for just 3. He also has the black text box text of Digivolving from Patamon for only a cost of 2. He says when attacking, by deleting this Digimon, activate one of the effects below. Place one of your opponent's Digimon with the virus trait at the bottom of their security stack. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. So you can activate one of those 2 effects. By deleting himself when you attack, you rather get to automatically bottom deck a virus type, or not bottom deck, but just bottom security, a virus type. Or, if need be, you can sacrifice himself to minus 5,000 DP on just anything of your opponent's. But he does have a built-in on-deletion effect to go with that. So that means this on-deletion effect will probably trigger if you choose to activate that when attacking. On attacking, place this card at the bottom of the security stack. Then, if you have a tamer in play, you may hatch an egg in your breeding area. So he's setting himself for a rebirth, just like classic Angemon does. He swings, he sacrifices himself, and then he gets to put something back into your security, as well as hatching you an egg to get ready to be rebought back. So, on top of that, he does bring... Oh, pardon me. He does bring an on-deletion inheritable. Place 1 yellow card with vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. So even after he evolves past being in this form, he gives you an on-deletion effect that says, hey, if I do go down, I'm going to make it so that way you can put something in your security. Now, on to our level 5s. I'm running 3 copies of EX1 Magna Angemon. So what this guy brings is he has the effect of when attacking, if you have 3 or more security cards, this Digimon gains plus 4,000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So when he attacks, he swings and automatically buffs himself to become at least 11k, making him a bit harder to die to something in terms of a Digimon insecurity. Option cards, yes, he may still die to some option cards, but at least because of that DP boost, he's ensuring it just a little bit more. But that's not the reason we're running him. No, we're mainly running him for his inheritable of your turn, once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, gain 1 memory. Because that's the one thing this deck does best, and that is adding cards in and out of security. So while you're doing all that, you might as well gain some memory while you're doing it. We're also running 3 copies of Magnamon Ace from BT14. This has the hand counterblast digivolve effect, which means when your opponent attacks, after they activate their when attackings, as long as you still have a body on board to do it with, this guy can evo from a level 4 for free, and then he will get his on digivolving on play effect, which reads, if you have 5 or fewer security cards, recover 1. Then for the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for each card in your security stack. Yes, he is an Ace Digimon, which means he does have the overflow mechanic. But that plus some of our level 4s that we've already seen makes some pretty nice combos. I've had a game where I just had no luck starting off with a rookie whatsoever, which is understandable. So I hard play Bulkmon. Then my opponent goes to swing. I hand counterblast into this thing. And I have 3 or more security, which means this guy not only minuses DP something that could have been stronger than him still, but I also had blocker, which means I was able to block and delete it and still survive. Something similar with this version of Angemon we're running. You can use this one's your turn effect on your turn, so that way when you digivolve into this, if you're low enough on security, you go, this guy is going to evolve into this guy. So that means I'll recover 1. Then I trigger this one's on play when digivolving. I recover again. So 2 recoveries during my turn. Now again, this deck is going to be a little bit different from what other people might play in it, because I'm also splashing in 2 copies of Shakuamon. He DNAs from 2 level 4s of a blue and a yellow. He offers, when digivolving, if you have 5 or fewer security cards, recover 1. Then, when DNA digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards in your security stack to its owner's hand. So he gives you, again, a little bit more recovery and a little bit of some removal. But I also run him for his interesting inheritable. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. Which brings us to the boss Digimon for this deck himself, BT14 Seraphimon, Angemon's Megaform. Or should I say one of 2 Megaforms, but his main one for this deck. So what he brings to the table is when digivolving, recover 1. all turns once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP, and this Digimon gains security attack +1. That's why I'm splashing in a copy of Shikuamon. Because if we activate this effect to minus 7 something and gain security attack +1, when we go to swing, if it's just a little bit shy of being able to delete it outright, that when attacking effect will kick in and hopefully finish it off, or at the very least, it might make it weak enough if it's tapped so that we can attack it directly and kill it off. And then last but not least, I'm also running 2 copies of Shadow Seraphimon. So what this guy brings to the table is he can Evo from a black or yellow for a cost of 4, but he also can Evo from a Seraphimon himself for a cost of 1. What he does is on opponent's turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, you de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. That is not once per turn. So that means if they keep attacking, they're going to keep de-digivolving. He also has on deletion. On deletion, you will recover 1. Then, for each card in your security, you get to minus 4,000 DP to a single target. So let's say you have this guy, 4 security left, something kills him, you recover 1, you're back to 5. So something is getting minus 4,000 DP for each of those 5. Keep in mind, I believe from the way this is worded, yes, for one of your opponent's Digimon. You're not going to be able to spread that out. It's going to be just a single target getting minus DP'd all to heck. So, moving on. Now on to the tamers. Now we got to have the main important tamer of this deck, and that is TK from BT14. We are running not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 copies of him. So what he does is on play, by returning the top card of your security stack to your hand, you may place 1 card with vaccine type from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. Your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, by suspending this tamer, gain 1 memory. It's important to note that effect does not trigger during your opponent's turn. So if this thing gets revealed from a security attack hit, you could choose to activate the on-play effect and return the top card of your security stack to your hand, and then you can even place a yellow vaccine card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, but you will not be able to suspend this card to gain back a memory during all that. So keep that in mind. And then next, we are also going to run 3 copies of BT1, or also available in the Resurgence Booster, basically the reprint set, TK, who is a memory fixer. He has start of your turn. If you have 2 or fewer memory, set it to 3. He also has the on-play effect of search your security stack, reveal 1 card, and add to your hand. If it's a yellow card, you recover 1 and then shuffle your security. So again, this is all about recovering, about moving cards in and out of security, and just having that knowledge of what is in your security stack. Now on to the options. I'm running 4 copies of Emissary of Hope. Now this card can be a blind luck type of thing if you don't already have full knowledge of what's in your security, but I'm also running it because It does allow for a possibility of evoing into what we already saw was a couple of costly champions of costs of 3 for free. Not to mention its security effect is actually really good for this deck as well. So it has search your security stack. One of your Digimon may digivolve into one yellow level 6 or lower card with the vaccine trait among them without paying the cost. Then shuffle your security stack. If digivolved by this effect, you have a tamer with TK, Takashi, in its name, recover 1. His security effect also reads, you may play 1 Patamon from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then add this card to your hand. Next, I'm running a single copy, which I may change up and run some more of. Holy Sunshine. When you would use this card, if you have a yellow tamer, it reduces cost by 1. Main effect, until the end of your opponent's turn, 3 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP and gains security attack minus 1. This card in a game actually came in super clutch, because I was down to where it was either me or my opponent that was going to win. He went to swing. He had 3 bodies on board. And this was the final card that got revealed for security. So not only did I manage to delete 2 of his bodies, but the 1 remaining body that could still attack got security attack minus 1. So it literally saved me. I'm also running a single copy of Megalospark. When you would use this card, if you have a yellow tamer, reduces cost by 1. Main effect, 1 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 8,000 DP until the end of turn. And then I'm also running 2 copies of a card that you probably won't see in any other deck profile along the lines of this particular deck. And I also consider it to be a little bit of my secret spice. I'm running 2 copies of Code Cracking. Now, this card has no security effect whatsoever, so if this card gets revealed from security, it does nothing. But if you have this card in your hand, oh boy, it's going to do some damage. So here's what it does. Main, your opponent may trash the top card of their security. If they don't, you get to recover 1. My idea originally for this card was to use it in combination with Seraphimon. Because once you have Seraphimon out and you play this card, you're going to be able to trigger his effect, or they're going to lose security. Not to mention, with your tamers, if you have more than 1 copy of BT14 TK, if they choose to not scrap a card from their security and you recover, it's just going to hurt either way for them, because rather they lose the security being trashed and not activating any effects off of it. Unless, of course, it actually is an effect that says if this card is trashed, which there's only a few of those out there. If they don't do that, you get to recover 1, which means you are going to activate Seraphimon's ability to minus 7 something, gain security attack plus 1. Not to mention, with your tamers, this card suddenly becomes even cheaper. Most cards that are option cards that just automatically recover you 1 in some form or fashion cost at least 6 memory, if not more. This card only costs 4. And with this deck, we can make it cost 3 or less. So yes, very strong, but I would not run no more than 3 copies at max, because you do not want to see this card all the time. It would be a bit too much. I'm running it too. But yes, even without it, Seraphimon being on field, you playing this card just makes a huge difference. Because there's going to be times where they decide to go ahead and just trash security, which will bring you one step closer to your victory either way. Or if they choose not to, you're recovering one and you're getting tons of benefits. So either way, it's a win-win. And the last card I'm running is a copy of Reinforcing Memory Boost. What this card does is reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 card among them to your hand, and the other card face down on your top of your security stack. Then this card goes to your battle area to be popped on a later turn with its delay effect of gaining 3 memory. But yes, this has been my hot take on Seraphimon. I could change up a couple things. Like, I know I might need to really consider the rookie count, because running only 8 rookies kind of hurts. Not gonna lie. But as I also mentioned, I've had games of where I just hard slam Bulkmon, and then Ace hand counterblast into Magnum Angemon Ace, and still come out okay. And like I said, I like that Holy Sunshine. It saved me. It makes me really want to try and put in more of that. But anyway, like I was saying, there's a more aggro version of the deck that people might run, like a Bulkmon that has Security Attack +1. Just be more aggro. Maybe instead of running Shikakumon for the DNA, I could just run a version of Rise Greymon that says if you have 3 or more Tamers as an inheritable, you gain Security Attack +1, along with an effect that helps me play Tamers, or at least a Tamer when it first comes out. But yeah, I could potentially build this deck to be more aggro in that sense, but I feel like the more defensive build is just more fun and different. But again, what is your thoughts? Should I change it up and make it the more aggro version? Is that what you're playing? What do you think of my little secret spice of code cracking? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, this has been Pro Digi, and I will see you next time.